name is James Gwilliam, and today you join me for another review, and it is indeed my very own 1999 Vauxhall Vectra. Now, I am filming this before, in terms of when I'm filming it before the reveal video. However, the reveal video will be going up on the channel before this video, so if I get anything slightly different, then that's purely because I'm filming this one first and you've already seen the review video, which is not yet filmed. So yes indeed, as you know by hopefully the reveal video, there should be a little iCard, I believe, in that corner that shows you, I watched the reveal video. There you go. So what we're going to do as normal is do a speed test. Hopefully, if this car behind me doesn't follow me down this road. Please don't follow me down this road. Oh, you have followed me down this road. That's disappointing. Yeah, so before we do a speed test, an actual 0 to 60, I suppose I am just going to speak a little bit about the speed of this car. I've driven it a little bit now. There should be a video coming out, or actually I think it already should be out, in terms of the scheduling, where it's my second trip to Cafe in the Machine, Daikoku Nights. If you haven't watched that video, go watch that there. Yeah, so I did take this car to that, and it is incredible. Like, country roads on this car, and again we will get more onto that in the handling stage of this review. This car is amazing. Honestly, it's nothing else I've ever driven, and that is purely because this thing, if you didn't know, if you haven't watched the reveal video, which you should have already clicked on and watched by now, but there we are, you can stay here now, has got inside it a 2.5 litre V6. Now obviously this means it is mighty quick, and it's just incredible. Honestly, like, I cannot describe driving this car, and because I'm getting that impatient, I'm going to put my hazard lights on and come to a stop anyway. So this car has to go around me because I want to do a 0 to 60 test. So there we are. As you can see, they've gone around me. Hazard lights can go off, and we can now do the 0 to 60 in 3, 2, 1, go. There it is, easy as that. That was 60, and I reckon I could have done that a lot quicker. I'm still not used to getting everything out of this car yet. However, it's incredible. Like, the sensation you get along with the physical actual speed, it's amazing. This car accelerates like nothing. If you need to overtake something on a motorway in 5th, it's there. If you need to overtake a tractor on a country lane such as this one, it's there. The power is all there. And the thing is, this car isn't actually that powerful. I believe it had around 168 brake horsepower from the factory, so it's not the most powerful of machines. However, the speed is phenomenal. So, however, obviously it's not supercar speed. You're not going to get 3-second 0 to 60s or anything like that. So, you know, for that reason, and for that reason alone, this is going to get a very high score for the speed, but not obviously the highest it can get. And personally, I think it deserves a 7 and no less for the speed. Now, we are about to turn around and go back up that very nice road in which I was disrupted because we couldn't do the speed test on it, to do the handling of this car. Now, another thing I'd like to say, just to start out while we do this very impromptu 180, yes, there you go, is that first of all, the handling in terms of the 3-point turn isn't as bad as you'd think, and I'm sorry that the lighting is terrible. There's actually sun in England in the start of February. I don't know why. I don't know. Just don't question it. It's English weather. Anyway, back to the handling. So this car, as I just demonstrate, it's very easy to handle while you're accelerating as well. So it's not one of those cars that goes completely haywire when you have your foot on the loud pedal. And as we go around this quite tight corner here, you can give it some stick while it's going around a corner, and it will just go. It's front wheel drive, so it's a lot better for beginners of quick cars, especially what I've been told anyway. I've not driven anything stupid powerful with rear wheel drive. In fact, actually, yes I have. That will be in a future video. But in terms of on a road sense, and in terms of pushing a car to road limits, I've not driven anything unsupervised or anything like that that's rear wheel drive and high power. So from what I've been told, front wheel drive cars are a great way to learn how to drive quickly and safely while you're doing it. So yes, the handling score is amazing. As a bit of an impromptu brake test there, it's a bit early. You could have done that later on while I was on that segment, because that would have worked out perfectly. But I digress. Handling for this car again is great. It's not top class, obviously, because again, it's not a supercar, and I'm hoping to get some really quick cars and some really interesting cars in this review series in the future. So for that reason, again, I think a 7. I think it deserves a 7 for handling again. And honestly, it's just, this car is doing really well, if you couldn't tell already. So now, because there's no one behind me, we're sat at 40 miles an hour, and we're going to do a full emergency stop, and hopefully this brake segment is quicker than the other 2 segments, because we're already at 6 minutes. So here we go, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that was quite good. The initial braking from 40 to about 15 was incredible. It stopped so quickly, and honestly, I'm very impressed, surprisingly impressed with the brakes on this car. It's a big 4-door saloon, and the brakes from 40 to about 15 were incredible. And then the ABS kicked in. The ABS kicked in from about 15 to nothing, and that whole 20 to 15 to nothing was subpar, in my opinion. It's nothing to do with the design of the brakes or anything like that, but I think that last little section of braking was, simply put, not good enough. However, the initial braking, so for what most people will be needing in an emergency situation, was incredible. I think it makes up for the fact that the final section of braking isn't that good by having the first section of braking be that good. So in the end, I don't think I can give this any more than a 5 for the braking, because of that difference in quality from the first section to the second section of braking. So it's only going to get a 5 on the braking section for me, and that is, as you know, the performance section of the review done. So then, interior. This is a bigger car than, for example, my Corsa, and this interior has a lot more features and things to discuss. So to start off with the interior, it's cloth. It's not leather, and I have in previous videos knocked down cars for not having leather interior, but having to think about it, I kind of think that was a bit stupid, because these cloth interiors are very comfortable. They are a joy to sit in, and it feels like it gives you support and comfort. So leather seats, don't need them, sorry, but you don't. The seats in this are quite comfortable, and the overall interior, the design, there is wood on the sort of center console-y bit of the dashboard, where all the radio and everything is, and we'll move on to that when we talk about technology in a minute. And it has wood on the gear knob as well, or shifter if you're American. And again, the dashboard, it's very late 90s. However, I quite like that. I think that's something about this car that shouldn't be overlooked. I think it's very easy to understand what's going on. And frankly, it's an incredible interior to be in. There's plenty of space, both in here and in the back seats. The only problem I have is that there's a center console thing that you can't really see, but there's a cup holder in that's not very deep, so I don't really trust it. So it's not got a cup holder, really. So that's going to knock it down. But again, the interior of this car is quite enjoyable. It's minimalist, but also has everything you need in a car at the same time. So again, for that interior, it's definitely better than average. Again, it's not the most fancy and luxurious interior, but it's definitely better than average. So again, I'm going to give it a 6.5 for the interior. Now, next on the list, as I said previously, was technology. Now, this car, it's very hit and miss with technology, because the technology in terms of the radio in this particular car isn't that good, as the sun decides to give me a weird lighting line. There you go. Do you know what, sun? We'll let you do that, whatever. So blame the sun for the lighting quality right now, not me. Anyway, radio isn't the best of quality. You know, potentially needs a better one. What's his face? There is a CD changers thing that takes up most of the glove box, and that's a bit weird. And yeah, so in terms of that, it's not that good. However, in terms of technology that's comfort, it has heated seats. It has electrically adjustable mirrors. It has 4 all-round electric windows. It has an air conditioning system that works very, very well. You know, this car is adequate. It's got airbags. It's got everything you need. And in terms of technology, I think that, as I said, hit and miss is the only way to describe this car, because in some sections it's absolutely amazing, and in others it lacks everything, you know. So again, I think that because of the heated seats and how amazing they are, it doesn't deserve any less than a 5. I was going to give it a 4, especially for its inconsistency, but for a car that's this, you know, advanced in terms of comfort technology, I feel like anything less than a 5 is just robbing it. So for technology, it's going to get a 5. Now, practicality is something that, it's, for me anyway, thinking about what scores I might give this car, practicality has been a difficult one for me to try and decide, because, as I said, in terms of carrying people, it's class. There is a lot of room to carry people, so in that sense it's practical. The boot's quite big. It has the power steering, so it's not that difficult to manoeuvre in and about town. However, it isn't the smallest car, so it's still, you can still feel the presence and the sense of this car's size, and it's so like difficult for me to put a score on this practicality, because I genuinely think it's quite practical, but then when you introduce the things like miles per gallon and how good it is on fuel and things like that, then it's so difficult for me to put a score on the practicality. And for that, again, I'm going to knock it down purely because of how difficult it is for me to actually make this score. So we're going to give it a 4 because it rhymes with score, and I've knocked it down a bit. So there you are. Not, you know, necessarily the best way of saying about the practicality, but there we are. That's the way it is. So now, if you've seen any other of the reviews, then you'll know that I drive to a certain spot that the car looks cool in or whatever, and I speak about the next few sections of the review, and we'll finish it there. So where is it that I've come to talk about the design of this car? Now, it's weird because you don't think you're in England, because if we just walk past the car for a minute, look at this view, look at that. Like, how are we right in the middle of England? I don't understand. This weather is doing good for the reviews. Right, so we'll start at the rear end of the car, talking about design. I think the rear end looks amazing, especially with this stock spoiler that you see there, or wing, whatever you want to call it. I think that looks cool. There may be, you know, one thing about the design of this car is that it is quite standard, really. You've got like your CDX badging, and you're absolutely amazing. One of my favourite features about this car is his wraparound wing mirrors. As well as the front bumper does look quite nice as well, with it being the 2.5 V6 model. But this Vectra B, let's be honest, in terms of design, although I like it, it can look quite plain. Now, however, it does play into its hands, because it can be seen as if hopefully these birds chirping aren't ruining the audio. Again, it does add to the whole spectacle of where we are, and the fact we are in the middle of England just amazes me. But anyway, the design, it can be like a sleeper, really, this car. It looks really sort of, looks like nothing, really. And then obviously you open up the V6 and the sound, and it's just amazing. So the design of this car, for me personally, obviously it's going to be a very high score, but I have to look at these kind of unbiasedly. So for the design of this car, because of how boring it might look to some people, I think I've got to be fair, and I've got to give this only a 6 out of 10 on design. However, if it was up to me, I'd give it a 9 because I think it looks amazing, but a 6 is what I shall get on the scores. So again, with the rarity, I'm going to take advantage of this spot because it's beautiful. So Vectras, you see a lot of them about, they're not that rare at all. However, Vectra Bs, which is what this one is, you don't see many of them. And how many 2.5 litre V6 CDX Vectra Bs do you see? And the answer to that is not many. However, it's still a Vectra, so I can't really give it the most rare score. I think I'm going to give it a it surely has to be higher than just a normal hatchback. But then again, it can't be too high because again, it's you know, it's a Vectra, but it's also quite rare because it's a 2.5 V6. And as you can tell by the way I'm deliberating with myself, I don't know what I'm going to give it. So for that, I am going to say 5.5. That's fair. I think that's fair. So that is the rarity score for this car, is a 5.5. So then, my new Vectra is, let's say, let's call it now, it's the all-around king, really, this car. In terms of public opinion, it has been given a 7. We're going to cut straight to the point. I don't really want to explain how that works. You should go and watch the first review, which was on my Corsa, to find out how that works. Link should be up there. So yeah, it's got a 7 on the public opinion, and for my score, I think it's going to get the same. I've not had enough time with this car yet, but it's going to get a 7 as well from me. So there it is. That's the review of the Vectra. We're going to run through all the scores now for you and then add them up and see where it comes on the table. So then, let's give you the rundown. It has a 7 for speed, a 7 for handling, and a 5 for braking, a 6.5 for the interior, and a 5 for the technology, 4 for practicality, and a 6 for the design. For the rarity, it's been given a 5.5. And finally, for the public opinion score, along with my score, it's been given a 7 in each. Overall then, the Vectra, it's done quite well, to be fair. It's got 60 overall. However, when I was doing the review, I thought the final score would be a lot higher than 60, but there you are, add it up, that's what it's got. And I don't know where that puts it in the table, so the table will be coming up after this video ends now. As usual, if there are any cars you want me to review, please let me know in the comments and I'll do my absolute best to get them on the channel as soon as possible. Is there any cars that you guys have, particularly classic ones, that you want me to review? Let me know and we'll try and sort something out. Also, if you like the video, obviously like the video, check out the other reviews on the playlist, and I'll see you guys in the next one.